Hi guys, so I'm doing a cool little video today about some indie books that I've been reading so far this year. I thought I'd just kind of talk through, do mini reviews of all of them so far. And yeah, because I've been getting into a lot of fantasy this year. I generally love fantasy anyway, and it's pretty much all I read. But I've been reading a few more indie books this year, mainly from like people that I've seen on TikTok, other author friends, and just generally some other books that I've been, seen around. And I have a few more on my TBR shelf, which I'll probably read soon. So I'll be able to probably do a follow-up video for this. The first one is what I'm currently reading. It is called A Path of Darkness and Runes by Marnie L. Norton. She is one of my lovely author friends on TikTok. And I've had this on my TBR shelf for absolutely ages. And yeah, I think she's recently published the second one too. But it's got lots and lots of monsters, a really, really powerful main character with a lot of strength and who learns her own magic. I'm currently reading it. I'm towards the end. I'm in the final stretch now. Really, really enjoying it so far. So I'll read you the blurb. The Fallow, a hallowed place, both sanctuary and prison for the beasts and creatures of the continent, has been desecrated. The balance between human and magical world has been ruptured. Rona is haunted by more memories and revolts against the natures and traditions to which she has been born into. Part of and family to a traveller's community known as the Unwanted, she regards herself an outsider with a dark secret. When a nighttime raid causes her brethren and family to flee across the continent in search of safer dwellings, Rona, along with her brother Roman and their friend Elias, cross paths with magical creatures of the Fallow. This new path and twist of fate sets them on a course of self-discovery, magic, and redemption. So I'm really enjoying this so far. It's like got lots of witchy sort of elements. It's got lots of monsters in it, and I think I'm going to meet some more monsters as I get towards the end of the book, because it's getting into the the nitty gritty action at the end of the book right now where I'm at. But I think because the book is so chunky, it's about 500 pages. It's really big. It's been a bit slow going at times, but that's not like that I'm not enjoying it. That it's not slow, if you know what I mean. It's just that the pacing is slowly getting to where where you want it to be, with the action and the monsters and stuff like that. Because it's a bit of an adventure book, so it's kind of like she's she's from like a traveling community, has her own little traveling home, like caravan, and it's really nice to see all the family relationships at the beginning, and then she kind of has to go off on this path with her brother Roman, who's really funny, and Elias, who's like the guy that she should have been betrothed to, but something happened and stopped it. I think it was like her own personal like reservations. So she's stuck with them too, basically, and then they end up in this situation where she ends up kind of getting stuck at hands of these three witches, and they kind of curse her, and that leads her on a path to a place where she ends up getting magic, because of all these things are handed to her. She gets these keys on her arms that are like magical keys, and she's stuck with them, and like she has to fulfill this thing and kill this monster for these witches or she'll die, basically. So that's where I'm at right now, but really, really enjoying it. I think I've just got to the point where she's just found the monster that she's gonna kill, because that bit was a bit of what I said about the pacing, like it's just been taking a while to get there, but not in a bad way, like you're enjoying the adventure as you go along, sort of thing. I'm also really enjoying the romance between Elias and Rona, which is slowly building up, because that's been sort of, there's been a lot of gentle yearning, like it's getting to that point. So yeah, that is what I'm reading right now. Sorry, that was a bit longer than I planned to talk about it, but really, really enjoying it. So we'll see how it goes. My other recent one was The Fairy Guild Trials by G.L. Preston, and this has Hunger Games vibes, but with fae and fairies. So if you like that, those two sort of things mixed, then give this one a try. The the blurb is Ephia Mathonwi, I'm probably not saying that right, the last Gwri, Gwri, is thrust into the treacherous trials of the Seelie and Unseelie courts, wielding the rare power to control shadows. As she faces ruthless foes and navigates the cutthroat fairy politics, Ephia discovers an unexpected ally in Ansel, a mysterious fae with secrets of his own. In a contest where every decision could be her last, Ephia's journey unfolds in a dance of danger and intrigue. Shadows cling to her every move, revealing hidden dangers whilst unlocking the secrets of her family. As the realm teeters on the edge of chaos, Ephia must choose her path wisely. Will she conquer the trials and emerge triumphant, or would the enemies that surround her become her undoing? In a world where survival is a deadly game, alliances will crumble and the realm's destiny hangs in the balance. So I was hooked on this basically. So it says the High King is dead, with no known heir to take his place. Let the games begin. So she's the niece of the king, I think. The niece. So this the daughter of the king's brother. And her father is a nasty man. But the king was like a lovely man that was very caring and always there for her and everything. So there's all the build up. She has these shadows and as her magic. And she goes into this big trial and she gets stuck there. And again, I think there's monsters and she's got there's an assassin scenes and lots of action stuff going on. Really, really enjoyed that one. And then the most recent one this is the first one I read this year, From the Myths of Kings by Abigail Hare, and this is the sequel to From the Mouths of Sirens, which I read probably a couple of years ago, when it first came out, I think. She's still working on she's working on book 3 now. Another indie author friend that I've seen around on Instagram and TikTok and that. This one is basically Hunger Games, but crossed with Little Mermaid. If you like those sort of recs, then that's a good series to try. So book 1 is kind of more of the Little Mermaid retelling, but with some really, really cool world building that's very intricate, but also very detailed, and it shows a lot of where she comes from, and there's these different kingdoms, and you see the different issues between them. And then book 2 goes a lot more in depth into the world behind it and the history behind book 1, and you meet these other characters that sort of tell you more about the history and in another action-packed way. Book 1, I'll give you the blurb. What if the Little Mermaid killed the prince instead of falling in love with him? A dark reimagining of the Little Mermaid from the Mouths of Sirens is the first installment in a compelling new YA fantasy series. With a lush fantasy world, a high-stakes competition, and a thrilling love story, From the Mouths of Sirens is The Cruel Prince meets The Hunger Games. Since childhood, Saoirse has trained for the sole purpose of being chosen for the tournament. The angel-like people of Arendelle have won the tournament for a century and ruled the continent with an iron grip. If Saoirse survives the 3 infamous trials, she will win the crown of Revellor and overthrow the nation responsible for her mother's death. But when Saoirse is denied entry into the tournament by the Mer King, she makes a forbidden bargain with an imprisoned sea witch in exchange for entry in the competition. Saoirse agrees to kill the Auran Prince, but while fighting for her life in the arena, the last thing Saoirse expects to do is fall for her greatest enemy, the arrogant Prince Brook. Their love story is just chef's kiss. I loved it. Their yearning and the build up is just brilliant, and obviously it's all intertwined with all the really cool action scenes that you expect from the trials, and the Little Mermaid and her at the beginning, how she ends up meeting the sea witch and has to bargain herself for what she really wants and everything, and how it's really sad about her mother's death and everything. And then book 2 kind of sets them both on a different journey. So some stuff happens at the end of book 1, which obviously leads into book 2. in terms of their romance and what happens between them. So there's a lot of like revenge and not liking each other at first and then slowly getting back together in book 2. So every bargain has a cost. Sorsha and Rook survived the tournament. Their hearts were left behind in the arena. After fleeing the city of Corinth and joining Princess Hosanna's rebellion, Rook and Sorsha must find themselves thrust into a new game more perilous than any trial they face in the Stone Circle. I don't want to give this too much away because just in case it gives spoilers for book 1, but yeah, so these are the indie books that I've been reading so far this year. I have got others on my list that I'm going to be reading soon, so I'll probably do a follow-up video of this. But yeah, yay indie books. So if you do like indie books, feel free to drop any recommendations down below, or any books that you want to talk about. And I'll talk to you guys very soon.